What is up, guys? It is Grindhouse Grotto here, and today is Alien Day. Anyways, I am super pumped because today is Alien Day. It is April 26, 2018, and the Alien franchise is very special to me. Over the years, I've slowly began to really appreciate this franchise so much and what this franchise has meant to science fiction fans and horror fans alike. So what I plan on doing this year for Alien Day is I'm going to review all 6 movies in the franchise. So this will be a 7-day long miniseries entitled The 7 Days of Alien. And the first film I'm going to review is 1979's Alien. And then what I plan on doing is the last day, on the 7th day, I'm going to be talking about my thoughts on the franchise. I'm going to rank all the films. And I'm going to share my thoughts on what I feel like the franchise, where's the franchise going. What the future looks like for Alien, what I hope to see. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's go ahead and dive right into 1979's Alien. So I own the Quadrilogy. I never bought these individually on Blu-ray. I just thought the Quadrilogy was a pretty good deal. Now I know they've released a box set that's got all the first 4 films with Prometheus and Covenant. I'll probably end up buying that. But for now, I basically own this, and I own the other 2, Prometheus and Alien Covenant, on 4K. So yeah, let's talk about 1979's Alien. So, 1979 Alien is one of those films that really just comes around every generation. For its time, it was very revolutionary. We had films like Roger Corman's space films, Forgotten Planet. What was one of the other ones he had? I can't off the top of my head remember what the movie was. He had a couple space movies, real schlocky space movies from that time period. We had movies like Star Wars, A New Hope. We had the Star Trek films. So, my point of view on 1979's Alien is, this was the first time that we actually got a legitimate space exploration movie that really looked at realistically what it's like to journey through space, and what do aliens look like. And I feel like these other movies, they were fantasy based. So you Star Wars, Star Trek, these Roger Corman films, they were science fiction fantasy. So this was the first time that we actually got a realistic space exploration alien movie. And that's what I think this movie has gained a following over the years for. It spawned several sequels, so we got Aliens, we have Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, then several years later Ridley Scott came back to the franchise, and then we got some prequels, we got Prometheus, and we got Alien Covenant. But yeah, this film over the years has gotten a great cult following. I remember when I was about 11 years old, I found Alien for the first time, and I dug it. I just remember during the summertime, school was off, and they were playing these Alien films in a marathon. So I just remember sitting up in my room, I'm hearing the crickets chirp, and I'm just sitting back and I'm just watching all these films. And at the time, I think they had made all the films up to Resurrection. So I just started watching them, I really got into them, and I just started to become a huge fan of the Alien franchise. So that's kind of my personal experience with the Alien franchise. My thoughts on the film: I love this film. Like I said, I love the fact that you feel like you're on board with the ship, you're on board with the crew. All the cast is believable. The way they designed the ship, it just looks realistic. And even to today's standard, it looks like something that you would see in the future. It really holds the test of time. I see a lot of these older space exploration films, even like Star Trek. And Star Trek, I feel like Star Trek tried to be realistic. They really tried to. But it just, at the end of the day, it wasn't realistic. But this film, to me, it seemed like a plausible future for us. So when they introduced the aliens, you already were invested in the plot. You already felt like this could actually happen. This could be our future. And when they introduced the alien, it became frighteningly scary because you're already invested in this film, and then the creature effects and the way they design the alien, the xenomorph, it's just frightening because you think that this could be real. And so that's really what sucked me into this franchise as a little kid, is just my love for space in general. And then the thought of the unknown. What's out there in space? What does our future look like? And I think this film does that well. And I credit to Ridley Scott for his excellent storytelling and the way he realistically portrayed a plausible future for us. So, as far as the film goes, this film basically involves around a crew on the ship Nostromo. It's a commercial vessel. And they are traveling through space in cryostasis. So they are asleep, and they get awakened by the ship's computer. They get a distress signal, so they all awaken, and this distress signal is coming from a nearby planet. So off the top of my head, we got basically several crew members. We got Dallas, he's the ship's captain. Then we have Kane, he's kind of second in command. We get Ripley's character, she's like a warrant officer, so she's kind of third in command. Then we have the navigator, and I can't remember what her name is offhand. Let's see, I have my little notes here. Lambert, so she's the ship's navigator. And then we have Ash, who's the science officer, and Parker and Brett, who are the ship's engineers. Excuse me for the notes, by the way. It's a lot of stuff to cover, so I gotta make sure I remember it. So those are your crew members, and they are coming out of cryostasis, and they get this distress signal, and there is basically a clause in their contract that says that they have to go investigate any signs of life from another planet or from another ship. And, you know, right away that the crews are talking about how dangerous this is. We can't just go down to a planet just because we hear something that could remotely be a signal from life. And then the science officer, Ash, who's a little bit of foreshadowing, I'll get into that, but he's really being like, look, this is in our contract. We need to go down there and check this out. So they all board their ship. There's actually three of them. We get Dallas, Kane, and Lambert. They go down to investigate. And while they're down there, they find an alien ship. And to what we now know are the engineers. And while they're down there on the engineer ship, they find these little pods. And in these pods are what we now know are xenomorphs. So they're kind of messing around with the pods, and a face hugger comes out and basically attacks Kane, and it attaches itself to Kane's helmet. Fast forward a little bit, they get him back on board. The ship's crew is basically panicking because, you know, we don't know what this is at this point. They're worried about contaminating the rest of the crew. So they put him in kind of like an isolation while they run some tests on him and everything. We see a strong performance from Ripley's character. She basically, at this point in the movie, we really don't know who the main character is, but she kind of steps forward and becomes the main character at this point. And she's saying, look, we have to, like, this is unfortunate, but we can't allow him to be on our ship. We have to get him off. This is a huge risk for us. And once again, the crew's like, no, we have to get this thing off. We have to save his life. You know, we need to run tests on this thing. And once again, we see Ash's character. He's like, look, we need to see what the heck. We have to see what this thing is. So they're removing this face hugger from Kane's mask, and it's kind of like, it's cool how they did this. It's kind of like embedded into Kane's mask. And as they're removing it, basically this ooze, this acidic ooze, basically comes out of the facehugger, and it starts to kind of like corrode its way through the ship, and it starts, you know, like corroding through the floor, and then going down to lower levels. So they go down, they're chasing this ooze to make sure it's not going to like create a hole in the ship's hull. Fast forward a little bit in the movie, Kane kind of comes to from his, I guess you could say, coma, and he seems to be all right. They're basically pretty much having their last meal before they go back into cryostasis. So they're all sitting around eating their dinner meal, and Kane starts to basically start choking, and it's like he's choking on something. So they kind of clear off the table, they lay him down on the table, and then the most epic scene in Alien franchise history, we get a alien fetus that burst out of his chest, and this little alien basically escapes on the ship. And what we get the rest of the movie is almost kind of reminiscent of a slasher film a little bit. I wouldn't say, I guess I wouldn't say call it a slasher film, but the elements of picking off the crew one by one. So it's got a horror element to it as well as being a science fiction film. Each crew member kind of just is assigned a task as far as locating this alien. At some point in the movie, they realize, okay, this alien is growing at a rapid rate. It's becoming an adult on board the ship, and the crew members are just being picked off one by one. At a certain point, Lambert, the ship's navigator, is like, look, this is out of control. You know, we need to get into this escape shuttle, and we need to abort the ship. We don't have any choice. This alien is too dangerous. And Ripley says, look, we can't get on board the ship. We can only hold 4 of us on board there. We have to see this mission through. We have to, get this alien off our ship. So they continue to battle alien throughout the film. And we get to the end where it's basically Ripley's character is the only one left. And she fights the alien with her cat. They get on board this, they're the only ones left. They get on board the escape pod, and they end up blasting the alien into space. And I didn't want to cover too much of the story, because for anybody that hasn't seen this movie, which is a shame on you if you haven't seen it, I don't want to reveal too much. You need to see this movie and see for yourself. But that's basically the movie in a nutshell. And then the movie ends, and that's where these sequels pick up. But what I love about this movie, for one, I love the creature effects in this movie. I thought they were really ahead of their time. I love the design of the inside of the ship. So they spent a lot of money and a lot of time developing the inside of the ship to make it look like it was lived in. It just looked realistic. It looked like a ship that somebody's been in for a long time. And I just love how they have these like pan shots, where you're looking down these different long corridors of the ship, and they're slowly moving through, and then you get to in the beginning of the movie. I like the scene where they're showing them in cross stasis, so you're kind of slowly moving through. You get that real haunting theme from Alien, and it's playing in the background, and then they kind of zoom in on the cryostasis pods with the crew members in it. I always love that scene. I thought it was one of the most memorable scenes in the movie. I like the scene in the movie where they show the engineer ship. So that always stuck out to me, and that became more of one of my favorite scenes when the prequels came out, because it kind of made me think, is this the ship that crash landed into this planet? Is this the same ship from Alien Covenant? Are these the same engineers? Especially after I saw Prometheus, even before Alien Covenant came out, we see the end of Prometheus, and we see the end, and they end up flying off, whatever, and we're like, what happened? Where are they going to? Dr. Shaw's character and David, they're basically on the ship, and we don't know what happened to them. They're going to find the engineers. So I always thought, after I saw Prometheus, is this Shaw and David's ship? Because it's supposed to be a prequel, so I figured this is Shaw and David's ship. And so that always fascinated me. Yeah, but the whole movie's awesome. I just love I love the whole concept of it. I love how it's believable. I love the characters. They're very well developed. So they spent a lot of time. They took a lot of care on making this crew feel like a family. So they feel really invested in each other when they're sitting around the table, and it's basically going around the table and different shots of different crew members and stuff, and you see their personalities. Each crew member's got their own little personality to them. I really like that about this film. Yeah, I just feel like this film steps out of the comfort zone as far as sci-fi films go, especially for that time period. It was revolutionary for its time, and it's legendary in its own right. And I credit Ridley Scott's directing on this. I really wish, while I do like Aliens as a sequel, and I like the third one, Alien 3 and Resurrection as well, I kind of like that one. I wish those three films, Aliens, Alien 3, and Resurrection, I wish all of those were directed by Ridley Scott. I'm one of those people that I'm in that, I'm in that camp, I guess you could say, of Alien fans that really wishes that Ridley Scott was on board with all of them, because I prefer the Ridley Scott films over the other films. Not to say they're not bad films, because I like them for different reasons, but I really like the vision that Ridley Scott had with Alien, and just the way the atmosphere and the suspense that he built in that film. I just felt like it was better storytelling than the other ones. The other films are more action-based and more horror-based, whereas Ridley focused on the storytelling and developing the characters and the overall atmosphere. And we saw that kind of drop off with the sequels. Well, like I said, they're not bad films. That's kind of my opinion on them. Overall, this film is just an awesome film. Overall, if I were to rate this out of 1 out of 5 stars, I would rate this about a 4.8. I think it's a nearly flawless film. I don't really rate any film 5, because it's really hard to say a film is absolutely perfect. You can really find a flaw in almost every film, but I would say it's about nearly perfect. I mean, it's like I said, films like these only come out once every generation, and that's how I truly feel. And there's been a lot of films that came out after Alien that tried to rip off Alien. Films like Species. What's that other film I saw? Shoot, I can't remember offhand. But Species is a prime example of an Alien film that tried to rip off the success of Alien. Species is an awesome film in its own right, but I don't feel like it holds a torch to Alien. It's not even anywhere closely to being on the same level as Alien, as far as its cult following and its sequels as well. The sequels for Species are just not that great. But anyways, guys, those are my thoughts on 1979's Aliens. What are your thoughts on 1979 Alien? Do you like that movie? I mean, obviously, if you're tuning into this, you like it. What is your favorite part of this movie? What's your favorite scene in this movie? Do you prefer Ridley Scott's Alien to some of the other sequels? Yeah, let me know what your thoughts are. And reminder, guys, I am doing a 7 days of Alien. So make sure you tune in to all my movies, all my videos. Each day, starting today, I'm going to be doing a review of each one of the movies in the Alien franchise. So make sure you stay to the end. I hope you guys like this mini-series, and until next time, take it easy.